All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another Facebook Live with the Noakes Foundation. My name is Jana Retief and I will be your host today. And I am so excited to introduce you to someone very special, Cobus Kriel. He is a carnivore coach and he has been following the carnivore lifestyle for 6 years now already. And we are going to chat to him today, hear a little bit more about his story, and just listen about the carnivore diet specifically in South Africa. He is one of our locals here, so we are so excited to have you here with us today. Thank you, Cobus, for being here.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you for the privilege to talk on such a esteemed platform. And it's a big event for me. I'm very excited. Thank you.
That's amazing. Yeah, we're also so happy to have you here today. So before we dive into the conversation, I would just like to remind everyone that the Noakes Foundation recently started a Patreon page. And the purpose of this Patreon page is really to help support the work of the Noakes Foundation and the work of Professor Tim Noakes. For as little as $5 a month, you can help us make a change. So please go have a look at our platform, consider signing up and showing your support. We're a non-profit organization. Everything we do depends on private and public funding. And before we start, let me just give you a brief overview of Cobus. So he is a seasoned carnivore diet coach with over 6 years of personal experience on the carnivore diet. Through this journey, Cobus has successfully reversed his own non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and hypertension. And for the past 4 years, he's been sharing his experience through coaching. He runs weekly online boot camps covering essential health topics like gut health, overcoming weight loss stalls, managing uric acid levels, and so much more. I personally have come to know Cobus through, I told him earlier, through TikTok. One day I was scrolling through and I came across one of his videos and it was in Afrikaans, and my first language is Afrikaans. And I was so surprised and I was thinking, wow, this is absolutely amazing that there's someone within the Afrikaans community in South Africa talking about this. And since then, I've come to learn there's actually quite a few of you guys promoting this type of lifestyle. And we thought, let's invite him on. Let's hear what he has to say and what can we learn from him. So welcome, Cobus.
Thank you, Jana. No, it's a privilege for me, and it really come full circle for me. As Professor Tim Noakes, of course, is also one of my heroes, and I read his book with Marika Savaros, Real Food on Trial, and I talk about him a lot. He's really, of course, a real South African hero and an international hero. And of course, the carnivore doctors also interviewed him many times. And those are some of my favorite videos. And because the link between a low carb diet, between Banting, keto, and carnivore and Ketovore, which we promote, it's very much in the same line. It's the same line of thinking. We have the same principles, although on the nuances of vegetables, we can discuss it a little bit later. But it's such a privilege to talk on this platform, and because there are many people that go between the diets, and I think it's a good thing.
Yes, definitely. So I think, Cobus, before we head to the comments or get to any other questions, I would like to ask you, can you tell us a little bit about how you came to learn about the carnivore lifestyle and how you've become a carnivore coach?
Certainly, Anna. Yeah, so like most people that come to the carnivore diet, I also came to it out of necessity. I was ill. I developed hypertension. I had pain on my liver, and I thought I had big problems. I thought I had cancer. I did not know how to sort it out. I was even prayed for, which is a good thing. But I happened to find the carnivore diet, and within 2 months, as you said, I reversed my non-alcoholic fatty liver. my hypertension was gone, and I started to do more research. I found Dr. Sean Baker. I listened to podcasts like Professor Peter Jordan, and at the end of the day, I started to research the topic more and more, and eventually I decided to do a course through Dr. Sean Baker's MeetRx platform. Currently, it's called Rivero, and that was about 5 years ago. And since then, I started to slowly start to coach people online, first via Dr. Sean Baker's platform, but he later on dismantled that coaching platform. It was an online international platform. So I even coached people in Canada, for instance, but it was not South Africans. What makes my story interesting is that all my clients are South African. Luckily, so far, all my clients understand Afrikaans. So although I can coach in English, and I do have English-speaking clients, but my recipes and my boot camps are in Afrikaans. And I've got international clients, but they are expats. They are staying in New Zealand and Australia and so on. But this is the background so far.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. I want to encourage our audience members, if you have any questions for Cobus, please pop them in the comment section. And also, please say hi, tell us where you are from. It's always nice to hear, to see who is watching the live with us. So I can say, Karina, I see she tagged someone in the post. I think she tagged Liline. So I hope, Liline, you've also joined the conversation. France is saying Cobus is doing amazing work. Lenthia is saying great coach. Natasha is also saying great coach. So I'm sure these are people that have worked with you before. So I want to ask, I've been very curious. What have you done, or in what type of profession were you before you transitioned into becoming a carnivore coach? What is your background?
Yes, no, certainly I'll answer that, but let me just say thank you to all my supporters and all my friends and coaching clients. I call my coaching clients coaching friends, because we are really a family, especially with the boot camps that we do on a weekly basis. We start to know each other, and there are some regular people there that they are so committed to their own lifestyle improvement that they attend every boot camp on every topic. And I'm very grateful for the support, but we have that in common. So just want to say thank you for the support and welcome, and thank you for joining us here. That is so great to see that you joined. Just to say that what did I do before? I'm still involved with another company. It's called Medizone. I do oxygen therapy or ozone therapy, and I've been doing that for the last 21 years. So, so I'm a distributor for them, and I'm into marketing there, and that's what I've been doing for the last 21 years or so.
That's so interesting. Maybe you can share a little bit about what exactly is that type of therapy, for those of our audience members who might not know.
Certainly, yeah. So ozone therapy is supercharged oxygen therapy, and there are various products on the market, and there are even people that give therapy. Now, I'm not into that market, so I don't go and give people therapy, or people don't come to me for ozone therapy, although there is such a market. But I was more into the selling of products, distributing ozone type of products, water purification products, air purification products, etc. So I'm still involved with that, although the coaching is picking up a lot recently.
Great. So Cobus, maybe for those of our viewers that are new to the whole carnivore lifestyle, maybe they've heard a little bit about it, but they're not quite sure what exactly it is. Can you maybe share a little bit about what exactly is the carnivore lifestyle? And you mentioned also ketovore, so there's a few variations of the lifestyle. Explain a little bit more about that for us.
Yeah, certainly. So in my opinion, there are 5 lifestyles that are healthy, which the first one is Banting and keto, and then it's the Ketovore. So the Ketovore differs from the keto that it is less carbohydrates. So it's 10 grams of carbohydrates as opposed to 20 grams of carbohydrates. I know some people add more carbohydrates, up to 50 carbohydrates per day, but the Ketovore is still meat heavy. And another way that the Ketovore differs quite from the keto diet is in the restriction of the spices. We are very strict with spices. We only use coarse type of spices. Then on the carnivore side, it's all animal products. So there are no vegetables there. Okay, we do drink coffee, which is a plant, but in general, there are no plant material there. Of course, we also use salt and pepper and garlic flakes, but that is the extent. Some people even need to cut that out. On the ketovore side, there are a little bit more spices, but it's the coarse type. It's not the refined spices. So we are not into sauces and spices that you can buy online or elsewhere. And then, so of course we've got the carnivore diet, and then the 5th one is the lion diet, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes. Do you want to explain a little bit about that? That's the strictest of them all, right?
Yes, certainly, Anna. The lion diet is, of course, the strictest of them all, and it's only red meat and water. So there are no eggs or white meat or fish or dairy involved with the diet. Not everybody has to do the lion diet, and not everybody has to do the carnivore diet. And that's why coaching consultation is sometimes best. And you can also combine them, and you can also stay a while on the one and then later transfer to the other one. So it depends on your unique situation. And just before we came online, somebody asked me something about carnivore, but it was not a coaching client. And I answered back and said, you really should consider doing a coaching session with me so that I can understand your unique situation, because it's difficult to give just a blanket advice if I don't know who you are, what your unique situation is. We spend up to an hour, sometimes even an hour and a half, talking on a consultation. There is a half-hour option, but many clients choose 1 hour to talk and discuss their metabolic problem. And I like to dissect things technically. I like my clients to understand what happens if you eat something. I want them to understand how hypertension works, how insulin resistance works. Because if you are there with your doctor, you need to speak to him in a way that he understands that you understand how insulin resistance works. I actually want to get the doctors involved, and I know that you and your platform also get the doctors involved, and that's a great thing. And we try to do the same thing. I don't put their names on TikTok, but what I do is I just gather all the names, and maybe one day I'll put it on a website with their permission. But I do have their names, and these doctors' names come typically from my clients that the doctor would say, yes, carry on with carnivore, it's a good idea. Or maybe the doctor even himself does carnivore. There are many South African doctors that do carnivore themselves, or at least they are positive to carnivore. And I said from the beginning, we have to get our doctors involved, and we maybe can talk a little bit about that as well, Jana.
Yes, definitely. So the Nutrition Network is the online e-learning platform for medical healthcare practitioners and allied healthcare workers, and they offer quite a variety of different trainings focusing on therapeutic carbohydrate restriction, which is basically a low carbohydrate diet. And yes, there are trainings for dietitians, nurses, doctors, very specialized trainings, but there's also options available for lay people or health coaches, one of which is the advisor training. And then they have a page on their website, which I will ask our media team to share in the comments. It's their practitioner page. And that page is a directory of people who have completed their trainings, whether it's doctors, dietitians, nurses, and you can go there and you can search for someone in your area, someone in your country, and someone with a specific speciality. For example, if you want to search for a coach, if you want to search for a dietitian. And one of the reasons why the Nutrition Network was founded back in 2018 was so many people came to the Noakes Foundation and to obviously Professor Noakes and saying, like, I have started this specific lifestyle and my doctor is concerned about my cholesterol or about this or that. And I need a doctor that understands this lifestyle. And so part of the reason why the Nutrition Network was born is to help provide that support for people on a global level. So if anyone is interested in looking or finding someone in the directory, have a look. If you don't find the person you are looking for, if you still feel you need some extra assistance, you are welcome to write to us at the Noakes Foundation, or you can contact the Nutrition Network directly. I'm sure they will also be able to help you. So, Cobus, you mentioned something quite important, and it's the fact that there's different ways of approaching this, I want to say, this type of lifestyle, this low carb or zero carb lifestyle. And it really depends on your personal needs. And I think that speaks a little bit towards the need to personalize medicine and personalize dietary approach. And I think that's where coaches like yourself play such an important role. And how do you decide, or how do you differentiate, like, what type of client needs to go on a Lion diet versus a Ketovore diet? How do you determine that? What influences that decision?
Okay. First of all, if they are willing to do the carnivore diet, I will, in many cases, suggest that they do the carnivore diet. But some people are not comfortable or willing to give up all the veggies, and I can understand that. But some people need to give up the veggies. So that is those are people that typically suffer from IBS and Crohn's, etc. And that's why a consultation makes sense, so we can determine, what did you try in the past, what worked for you, what didn't work for you, what is your dietary history, which has a huge impact on going forward, because many times diets and diet medications actually did damage to the body, and that is a problem, and it needs to be discussed through. You can't just make a blanket statement and solve it from there. So you have to look at medications, what kind of medications, what medical history the person has, and it's a complex issue. And like I told one of my coaching clients this morning, it's not just about eating meat and drinking water. It's not that simple. You have to look at, first of all, the willingness, the health situation, the chronic situation. Also the doctor need to give his permission. So I always say to my clients, in all my videos, I ask them, speak to your doctor first, because you need to get your doctor involved, because you're going to reverse your insulin resistance, and you may be on medications that need to be reduced and sometimes even stopped. And I am not a doctor. I can't advise you on that, but you need to get your doctor on board, because otherwise you feel bad very quickly because the medication is too strong. And so it's very important to have that discussion with your doctor. And it's also an educational process, especially in the smaller towns where the doctors might not be so clued up with what is going on with the diets and the nutritional advice. When I do the boot camps and we speak for 2 hours and 20 minutes on hormonal health, I asked the coaching clients, I wonder how many doctors is getting a 2-hour lecture on a Sunday, 7 p.m. on hormonal success, And I don't think they are. I think many doctors are not educating themselves enough because they don't have the time. And I think many times they are just taking advice from drug reps, what medicine to give. And especially overseas, I think it's a huge thing. And I think it will start to happen, or maybe it's already happening in South Africa, where doctors are getting sued because they did not give the right medicine or advice or procedure, whatever. So what is the easy way out? Just give the medicine? No, I gave him that medicine. But you and I know that medicine is not solving the problem. And that is what makes what you and I are doing with your platform and with our coaching, is we're trying to get the message out of eating healthy. Look at lifestyle first before you need the medicine. I'm not saying I'm against medicine. Medicine has its place. But sometimes the medicine is not needed if you can prevent things happening in your body. And even if you are on the medicine already, you can still make it better. And with the help of your doctor, reduce your medicine to the point where you may eventually be able to stop the medicine. And medicine is problematic because every bit of medicine that you are taking, whether it's a pill or an injection, it's causing oxidative stress on your liver, and oxidative stress push up your insulin resistance, and it goes full circle again. So that is it's a very important topic.
Yes, definitely. And I think what you're saying is so true. And I mean, look what happened to Professor Tim Noakes. When was it? 2012, 2013, 2014, around those years, where he had to go to trial with the HPCSA for a tweet that he tweeted on Twitter, or what we would call now X, for giving wrongful advice. And it's so true. I think often doctors are a little bit hesitant to prescribe a specific lifestyle, a specific diet that's not in line with what they have been taught or what the guidelines require of them. I am thinking and hoping it has changed a little bit over the years. I think more and more people are waking up to realizing the important role of nutrition in chronic disease. And I mean, just if you think about it, so many people, lay people, I want to say the you and I out there, we kind of start educating ourselves. And that's also kind of what, what the Noakes Foundation stands for, like questioning the science. Just because some study has been done and the data has been cherry picked like 50 years ago doesn't mean that is the truth. It doesn't mean that is accurate, and that's what we have to do. You really have to go and question and dig a little deeper, and also see at the end of the day what works for yourself. And how your body responds to it. So I think that is such an important thing that you mentioned there. So thank you for that. I want to get over to the... Yes, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, one of my favorite quotes of Professor Tim Noakes is where he said that a scientist is not a scientist if he does not correct his mistake. So if you know you are wrong, if you look at Professor Tim Noakes, he was on the sugar train together with Bruce Fordyce, and because of reading a low carbohydrate book, he changed his opinion within 2.5 hours, and the history. And that's why I say he's one of my heroes, or one of our heroes of the carnivore community and all the low carb community, of course. And there are similar examples. Dr. Gary Fetke, he had a similar experience, and it's just like this thing of trying to stop people like that not spreading the lifestyle change. It's actually bad. And still, I hear what you say, that it's changing, but I think it's changing too slow, and I think there's a lot of pushback. But what we are doing right is that we are keep on having this kind of discussion, and we are keep on educating people. And I think education is so important. I want this conversation, it must spread to the braai. It must spread to any place where people are talking about health, there must be somebody that is doing the carnivore diet and say, listen, but no, you can reverse your type 2 diabetes with the carnivore diet, or with the Banting diet, or with the Ketovore diet. You can reverse it. So we must have this discussion, because let me give you an example why I say it's not spreading enough. Recently, we did a boot camp and we discussed a particular video of one of the carnivore doctors, and they were talking about the Diabetic Association of America, which have still on their website the advice that no, you can just take your medication and you can eat what you want. Now, my goodness, or like the Australian version on their website, not the Diabetic Association, but I think on some government association or website, it says they give their version of a My Plate diet or a food pyramid diet, and then they say this diet is not for old people or people that are growing. And then the doctor said, my goodness, but who must do this diet then? So they are very vague in their approach, but they still give bad advice, but they don't want to take responsibility. So what we say is, no, let us take the responsibility, but let's have the discussion with the doctors. We need the doctors on board. Of course we do. But I think if we can empower ourselves with knowledge to understand how the mechanics work of eating, then we can have an intelligent discussion with our doctor, I think.
Yes, definitely. I agree. And I quickly want to head over to the comment section. The comments have been very busy. Clearly, all your supporters has jumped onto this live, Cobus, and it's just a testament to the amazing work that you have been doing. Cobus? Seems like we have lost him. Let's see if he will be back. While we wait to see if he's going to join us, I would love to read some of the amazing testimonials that's coming up here in the comment section. And I will read them in English because some of them is in Afrikaans. So Karika is saying, just since she started the carnivore diet, her sugar went from 21 all the way to 7, and sometimes it's as low as 5.9. She's using no medication anymore. She doesn't inject insulin anymore, and she is on Nico's group, which is, I think, another carnivore group. And she's also saying that group is just of great support for her. So welcome back, Cobus.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Welcome back. I was just reading up some of the amazing testimonials we have here in the comment section. And then someone saying just Cobus is a wonderful coach. If it wasn't for him, I would have left the lifestyle in the first few weeks. I mean, that's something we can also chat about a little bit later, is the sustainability of the carnivore diet, which I think is often being criticized by people who hasn't tried it yet. Then Renee is saying hello. Sonson is watching all the way from the Philippines. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Hadash is saying how she loves the coaching sessions with you. And then we've got someone else, DC, on saying, I've been using the carnivore diet to stay in remission after stage 4 cancer twice in 2 years. Now in remission, 10 years on a high fat, low or no carb eating, and some other lifestyle changes. That is just amazing to hear. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. We had a question here from Nita. So let's get to that. And she's saying, hi from Cape Town. Would like to know, what is Cobus's take on fasting with carnivore? More so extended fasts, and how to break that fast with carnivore.
Certainly. Yeah, Nita, thanks for the question. Yes, absolutely. We did a boot camp on fasting, and we talked for more than an hour and a half. So what I would suggest is do a coaching with me. I won't be able to give a complete explanation here, but what I can say is fasting works for some people. And if it works for you, great. But you should not fast for longer than 3 days, in my opinion. Definitely not 5 days. To break the fast, there's different approaches, but we can discuss it. Maybe what I suggest is WhatsApp me, and then we can have a nice discussion and first see how well you are doing with fasting. And there's different things when we go into a fast. You must remember, what is your age, what is your gender, what is your chronic situation, what is your weight situation. There's many things to consider if fasting is even good for you. So yeah, let's continue a discussion maybe afterwards. And my number is available on all my platforms. If you go to my bio, you'll find my number.
Yes, and I saw someone also posted your number in the comment section as
Oh,
well.
cool.
Yes, so it
Okay,
is there. And towards the end of this live, of course, I'm also going to give you an opportunity where you can share and let everyone know where they can reach you, how they can find you. We
sure.
had another comment here that I wanted to look at, and it's again a testimonial, and let's see what Michelle says. Hi, I'm hoping to have a consultation with Cobus. I've been on the carnivore diet for 2 months. I need more information as I still have no energy and I've lost only 4 kilograms. I am 51 years old, 80 kilograms, getting very frustrated as I'm walking every day, doing weight training, sleeping as much, and better and off more medication. So this is quite an interesting thing, and I'd like to chat to you about it. And it kind of ties in with the topic of sustainability. But what I have noticed is often people say when they start this lifestyle, they experience a lot of fatigue. Um, they don't have energy. They don't feel very well. What could be the different types of causes for this feeling, specifically at the start of adapting this lifestyle?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no, yeah. So most likely the keto flu. Of course, it's the adaptation phase. So most likely it can be that your body is adjusting. Remember, your body worked, or her body, or anybody's body worked for decades in a certain way, using glucose as main fuel. Now we're going into ketosis, mostly, not always, but mostly. So your body is adapting. So you become fat adapted. Then there's the electrolyte imbalance. So you may need to use electrolytes or pink Himalayan salt. That is of benefit, and also it can be that you're not eating fatty enough. So there are different things that you can look at. Yeah, so it depends on your unique situation. You know, what's your chronic situation? Did you come from other diets? What is your health situation currently? So we need to talk in a deep discussion. That's why people book an hour consultation as opposed to a half an hour consultation, because we discuss your unique situation. And many times by just articulating, I listen and I pick up small things that you can't really pick up in just a paragraph like now. There are maybe hidden factors that we did not take into consideration. So it's difficult to just give a blanket statement again like that. But yeah, energy is important. I'm also much focused on how you feel. So how you feel is very, very important. Yeah, I hope it answered it.
Yes, thank you. I just want to read another comment here. It's from Wendy. She's one of our regulars on the lives, but I find it quite funny. So she's saying, hello from Ottawa, Canada. Carnivore has been the best way to go for me. 2 years now, coming from Ketovore, and before that, keto and low carb. Education and being a living example of wellness success is so important, even when those around you refer to you as the crazy meat lady. And I think that ties in with what you were saying about, like we need to speak about, like you want to have these conversations around the braai and discuss it with more and more people. And I want to share a little bit of a tidbit, and it's about my husband. So we follow I would say, a carnivore diet 90% of the time, and then we switch between ketovore. But usually our breakfast, mine consists of like 6 boiled eggs, and his is usually 8. And he eats his boiled eggs at work, and that is, he would say, almost every single day the topic of conversation, like the eggs that he eats, the lifestyle that is on, the way we are um what are we eating? There's a lot of questions. What are you eating? Don't you get bored? And so maybe we can chat a little bit about that, the sustainability of this lifestyle, because I think some
Yeah.
of the things that comes up often is like, isn't it boring? Like you're eating the same stuff. People ask, how do you eat eggs every day? What do you do with cravings? So what is
Mm.
your advice and your comment around the sustainability of the carnivore lifestyle?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Jana. So first of all, that's why we have the recipes. We've got 200 recipes, and I share 3 recipes every day on my coaching platform. I've got a WhatsApp broadcast, and if you become a coaching client, you are 30 days on that broadcast, and you receive 3 recipes every day. You also receive 200 recipes to start with, but you can make it as interesting as you want, or you can keep it as simple as you want. You don't have to have variety, but some people do need variety, and that's what we have. We have a variety for them. We've got even 9 breads that you can bake,
Wow.
and they don't have almond flour or uh, of course any starch in it. It's just carnivore products in there. Yeah, so the variety is definitely there. But we also help with the coaching. We help people to shift their mind from food being an entertainment to food being an energy source. And that is where the coaching comes in handy, because I try to be one of the 5 people in my clients' circle of influence to influence them for the positive. And it's like I always say, if you have 4 buddies that are party animals, you'll be the 5th buddy. so so we try to influence people in a positive way, and maybe some of the things that I say and present rub off on them, and vice versa. I learn a lot from my clients. I've got clients that are very clued up, and they do a lot of research themselves, and I've got carnivores on my platform, coaching platform, that are doing coaching with me. One in one particular case, one lady is 6 years on the carnivore, and her husband is doing carnivore recently, and they are on my platform. I've got people that are 2-year carnivore, and they join my platform just because they might feel a frustration. They might hit a place where they a little bit stuck, and we articulate. And look, I don't say I know all the answers. In fact, I don't know all the answers. But that's why we do the boot camps, and we've got some interesting boot camps coming up. Inflammation. We've got the vaping and nicotine boot camp this weekend, depression, anxiety boot camp, and I think the most important boot camp that we've got on a weekly or every second week, it's the mindset boot camp, and there you can articulate, and it's on Google Meet, and you can articulate, and people motivate each other and give answers to each other, and it's so inspiring. We've got one going on tonight, 6 p.m., and it's we record these. We all the boot camps are recorded, and you can also order them afterwards.
Thank you, Cobus. I think what you talk about is the importance of the community and the people you surround you with. And that's something we have seen time and time again with the Eat Better South Africa programs as well. When we do our post program analysis, and we do a lot of interviews and focus group discussions, one of the most important factors in terms of sustainability is usually the sense of community and knowing you have the support from the people in the group with you. So I think that's quite important. We've got another interesting question here, and I'd love to hear your answer. So this is from the profile name is RR, and it's on X, and they are asking, what is the relation between carnivore diet and kidney health?
Yes, that's a very good question, and it's one that I often get on TikTok. And usually it goes like this: yeah, but the meat will destroy your kidneys. And I also always answer it like this: let's talk about the kidneys. What is really destroying the kidneys? And of course, we know it's diabetes and it's hypertension. So how do you get rid of the hypertension and how do you get rid of the diabetes if it's type 2? Well, you do the carnivore diet or a low carbohydrate diet, and you reverse your insulin resistance, because 80% of hypertension is caused by insulin resistance. 20% of hypertension is caused by other factors like stress or heart rhythm conditions or infection or inflammation or medicine or alcohol. But 80% of the time it's insulin resistance that upregulate the salt retention on the kidney. So you reverse it. And then diabetes. What does diabetes do? Diabetes cause a lot of damage in the kidneys and on the vascular level as well. So you need to reverse type 2 diabetes, and all diabetics are insulin resistant. So if you are type 1 diabetic, even we manage to help people reduce their insulin that they are injecting by 65 to 75% if you are type 1 diabetic. So of course you do this together with your doctor, but you save a lot of money. The one gentleman is saving 3,800 Rand a month just by not injecting more insulin and by doing the carnivore diet.
Wow, that's really incredible, and it just comes to show all these, I want to say, misconceptions that's out there around this particular lifestyle. I mean, not just carnivore lifestyle. I mean, let's be honest, even the low carb lifestyle. Often you will still hear people say, "Oh, it's not going to work for me because I have high cholesterol." I recently spoke with someone again, and she was just like, "Oh no, I've got type, I don't know, type A blood type. It's not going to work for me." And it's sometimes difficult because you want to go into conversation with some of the people, but also you have to pick your battles. I've learned not everyone is open to having these type of conversations, and I think that's kind of also what Professor Tim Noakes has been trying to do, and us at the Noakes Foundation is kind of ask the difficult questions and say, okay, let's discuss this. And like you said, no one can know everything, and that's why you have to listen to people and get different opinions and learn, and always be open to questioning and gaining more knowledge and information.
Very true, very true.
I
Can I
also
just Yeah, sorry. I just wanted, before we carry on with the next question, just want to say one more thing about the kidneys. It's important that to talk to your doctor to discuss your kidney health before you do the carnivore diet. And the reason being that you must have more than 30% kidney health before you can do the carnivore diet or a bit heavy diet. So that is the only thing that I can say, is because the protein will be heavy on your kidneys if you have less than 30% kidney function left. But more than that, you can discuss it with your doctor, and if you say you can do it, even if you have some form of kidney problem, if the doctor say it's fine, you can do it, you can absolutely do it. But like I said, the main thing is to reverse hypertension and diabetes, and if you do that, I can't see why it would be bad for the kidneys.
Yes, definitely. So I want to ask you, there's actually two more interesting topics I want to ask you a little bit about, but I see we've got 15 minutes left. So if there's anyone in the audience that's still got some questions, please pop them in the comment section and we'll try our best to get to them. But what I would like to ask you about is a little bit about the connection between gut health and the carnivore diet. Because I think also one of the criticisms that you often hear for the carnivore diet is you need your fiber, it feeds the bacteria in your gut. You can't not eat it, you're going to get constipated. So tell us a little bit more about the gut health and the carnivore diet.
Yeah. It's such an interesting topic. Thank you for bringing it up. We did the gut health boot camp, and we did the infertility boot camp, and the weight loss stall boot camp as well, and now the hormonal boot camp, and all those boot camps interlinked back to each other, back to the gut. And gut health, just to give you an idea how important the gut is, for every signal that your brain sent to the gut, your gut actually sends 9 signals back to the brain. Yeah. So who is the brain? Is it the gut? I always say that, if the gut say it's enough, then it's enough. If the gut spoke, the brain will listen, the body will listen, then it's over. And if you're not going to look after your gut, then there's a lot of ripple effects coming from there. Just to give you one example, many people don't know this, but your neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine are made in the small intestine. They are synthesized there. And even if you talk about cognitive health or mood health, there's a role to play with your gut. And the ripple effect, even if you go to infertility, there's a lot of things, especially when you mentioned fiber, for instance. We didn't answer it properly. So fiber plays a big role in creating heat because it's fermenting. And the trouble is that because the colon is on top of the gender organs, what happens is that heat, first of all, is a problem for infertility. And also, if the gut is perforated, if you have intestinal permeability, many of the plant toxins, I'm talking about oxalates, lectins, polyphenols, are leaking through the gut, and it embeds itself, in the ovaries, in the testicles, everywhere. And it causes a lot of ripple effects. So if you talk about gut health, it's such a huge topic. Many people don't realize it, but if you can sort out your gut health, many things come right automatically. There's even a link we learned now between gut health and back pain. Some people that get back pain, the inflammation comes from their gut.
Wow, that's so interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
so your gut is really, from the sound of it, your gut, we can say your gut is really integral part of your overall health. If you take care of your gut, your body will take care of you.
Absolutely. There's a new word that I've recently learned, and it's called glycocalyx, and it's basically the protective layer on the cells in the gut and elsewhere. And what happens with sugar is sugar and plant toxins, it damages this little protective layer, which is a lipid layer and protein layer. And that is where the damage comes in. That's why, the more stricter you are with your diet and the spices and all the things that you're using, the better it goes with your gut.
Thank you, Cobus. And then the other thing I wanted to ask you about was the carnivore diet and cholesterol. So that's the other thing. People often say, well, you can't do carnivore because I've got high cholesterol, or there's high cholesterol in my family, or I'm worried that I'm going to get high cholesterol. So is that the case? Maybe talk us through, the lifestyle and cholesterol and the link there.
Yeah, certainly. And, cholesterol has been vilified, as Professor Tim Noakes also said. It's been made this villain, but it's not the villain. Of course, cholesterol is such a wonderful thing. If I can take all your cholesterol away right now, you'll be dead. So cholesterol, of course, we know 30% of your body's cholesterol is in your brain. Your brain is about 60% cholesterol. Your nerves are sheathed with myelin, which is formed from cholesterol. All your hormones are made from cholesterol. Your immune system is enhanced with cholesterol. Your cell membranes are made from cholesterol. But now they give you cholesterol medicine. What breaks first? Is it the brain or is it the skin? You decide. So we really have to look at what is the risk for heart disease. And the risk for heart disease has been determined. It's not cholesterol. Cholesterol has a LDL. I'm talking about the so-called bad cholesterol. According to a certain study, it has a 1.6 risk for heart disease, only a 1.6 risk. But diabetes has a 10.7 risk factor. Metabolic syndrome has a 6.0 risk factor. Hypertension has a 4.5 risk factor. Obesity, 4.3. But high triglycerides, the one that goes up when you eat too much carbohydrates, has a 2.1 risk factor. So all those things considered, it's got a twofold, fourfold, sixfold, tenfold higher risk than cholesterol. But what do people shout about? Or, no, the cholesterol. No, the cholesterol is there to protect you. So we've learned that cholesterol is actually a good thing, and there are studies that support this as well.
Thank you so much. And I mean, that is so true. I sometimes, think about, like, I would tell people, I will rather have a little bit of a higher cholesterol than a low one. And that's just, I mean, my personal opinion, also because I believe that cholesterol is actually very healthy for you. And we know that the majority of the cholesterol in your bloodstream is actually made by the body itself. Contrary to the belief of that if you eat fatty foods, it's going to go into your arteries and clog it up. We've got a question here from Wendy, and I'll put it up here on the screen. What are your thoughts of coffee on carnivore? Is it damaging to the gut?
Okay, that's a very good question, and we are going to do a boot camp on coffee. We already did a live on TikTok once on coffee. It was such an interesting discussion, but yeah, so the community is divided on coffee, and some of the carnivore doctors say, no, coffee is good, it's actually beneficial, and others say, no, it's bad, you shouldn't consume coffee. So it's divided, it's nuanced. But of course, we're talking about pure coffee and not things that they call coffee, which is actually chicory. So you shouldn't use that at all. It depends on your unique situation, because some people can't tolerate coffee at all. There's even some people that get high blood sugar because of coffee. Some people it does not affect. But it depends on your situation. If you have adrenal problems or struggling to sleep, if you struggle with anxiety, things like that, it's nuanced, I think.
Yes, definitely. I mean, personally, I don't want to lie, but I think I stopped drinking coffee 3 or 4 years ago. And for me personally, that was one of the best things I could have ever done for my health. But again, then there are other people who have stopped drinking coffee and didn't notice any difference. So they'll go back to drinking it again. So it's such a personalized experience. We've got another question here from Lynthia. Can a person who has had heart surgery, stents, bypass, and a valve replacement do carnivore? What are your thoughts
Yes,
on this?
yes, they can. Hello, Lynthia. Lynthia is also a coaching client. It's a very good question. Yeah, they can do the carnivore diet. Of course, as everybody else, they need to discuss it with their doctor, because there are medicines involved and their unique situation. But absolutely, like the carnivore doctors always say, what would you give a sick animal as opposed to a healthy animal? Will you give him a different kind of food, or will you give him the appropriate food for that particular animal? And of course, you'll give him the same food as the healthy one. But somehow we think when we are human, we must somehow get some other kind of food because it's different. So no, it's not like that. Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. And we are almost at the end of the live. So I have one last question for you. And it is, if there's someone listening today and they have been thinking about the carnivore diet, or even thinking about doing ketovore, but they're hesitant and they don't know where to start, what tips and advice could you give them?
Okay. First of all, I would suggest that even if you don't do the carnivore diet, just cut out the sugar, cut out the starch. That's a good place to start. So even if you cut out the refined products and you just eat like vegetables and meat, that you'll do good. But if you want to go more stricter, the more stricter you are, the better you will do. That would be my advice to them.
Thank you for that, Cobus. And then I would like to give you the opportunity, maybe just to tell our audience members where they can find you, how they can reach you, on what platforms are you available. Yes.
Yeah, no, thank you. Let me first just say thank you for the opportunity, and it's such a huge privilege, and yeah, we are all on the same team, aren't we? And
Yes.
yeah, I think this type of conversation is so important. And thank you for the privilege of me being here and inviting me. And yeah, so people can find me on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, and Instagram, and they can just look for my name, Cobus Kriel, spelled and Cobus spelled with a C. Yeah, and my number is always in the bio on every platform.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Cobus. And thank you, everyone that joined us today, for the amazing questions and all the testimonials. And just, I mean, Cobus, again, it's just really testament to the incredible work you've been doing and all the lives that you have been touching. Thank you so much for joining us here today. It was such an honor and a privilege to be able to speak with you, to learn a little bit more about you, and of course, the work that you do. We will put all of your contact details as well in the comment section for anyone that is interested to learn more about you or would like to reach out to you. And yes, to our audience members, I hope you all have a lovely, lovely day. Keep an eye out. There's a Facebook Live this afternoon on the Nutrition Network's page with Professor Tim Noakes, where they will talk about the Nutrition Network's latest training in nutrition and exercise, and keep an eye out on the Noakes Foundation platforms for our next live. Hope everyone have a fabulous day further. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye.